Ladies, can we talk? I feel the need for speed. No. Oh, my hair's out of place. Got a little doo up. All right, ladies, let's talk. Let's talk, ladies. I try to instill this in the ladies, and for good reason. For good reason. Um, you women, you women, you women have listened to feminists tell you things like you're more powerful if you take your clothes off. Uh, they've told you that you are equal to men in every way. They told you that everything a man can do, you can do better. So you can surpass men on manning. Uh, so anything a man can do, a woman, whoa, what I got? A woman can do better. So anything a man is meant to do, women who aren't meant to do that can go ahead and do that better than a man. This is the lie that has been perpetuated throughout the world, especially in the Western world. And it tried to go into the Middle East, but that didn't go very well. You can go over there and talk to the Taliban, who believes in Sharia law, and see how feminists see how that works over there. I don't think it's going to go down too well over there, but you can try. But some girls did try femininity over there, and they literally got beheaded. So that's a no over there where the Taliban live. And now you're going to have thousands of them coming over here into America because America is doing what America does, which it doesn't make sense to anyone to bring, to arm the Taliban with $85 million worth of military equipment that we pay for, and then to bring thousands of them over here, who are still going to believe in Sharia law. So there's going to be some problems that's going to go down. Trust me. But men are very, very angry. Men are watching. You know what the highest watch porn is? Women getting mistreated. You know why men watch that? It's because they fantasize about doing something to you that they can't legally do. And a lot of it is pretty gross. A lot of it's pretty out there. And for the women who participate in it, they only are in it for a short while, and then they start breaking down. And some of them even cry on script. Some of those women have committed suicide. So it is not a good place to be. Once those women get back to their senses, they're like, you do not want to do this. You don't want to be a part of this, ladies. It is a very hard thing to do. And it is demoralizing in every sense of the way. And it is demoralizing on purpose. Men control the porn industry. So men know what men want to see. And there are a lot of men who have been on the wrong side of the courtroom, are angry at girlfriends and wives and people that they don't know who've made false allegations against them. Men are angry that they don't even know a woman and they have to take care of their baby because the court system says so. So you cannot even sleep with a woman, but a woman can say, John Jacob Dingleheimer Smith is the one who fathered this baby, simply because she just knew your name. This has actually happened. A woman did not know who the father was, but she knew the name of the guy she just knew who never had sex with her. And when they said, who's the baby's father, she mentioned his name. She knew his address, and they sent him a letter. And it just so happens that the man was actually, he went to jail for a short time. And once he got out, he didn't even know the letter was sent. Well, the court, they didn't care. Once he went before the court, he was like, I've never slept with this woman. They were like, yeah, we don't care. You still owe child support. So he ended up paying child support. Remember that song, Everybody in the Club Getting Tipsy? Remember that? That guy also paid out thousands and thousands of dollars to a woman who lied on him and said that he was the father of this child. And he was like, why am I paying all this money to a child that's not, I'm not the father? The court knew it. But the court was getting money through the child support system. It's robbery. The court is robbing us. The court is robbing men. And the women are helping. So this has gone on and on. Women are making false allegations, putting men in jail, making saying 30 years ago. Here's even the allegations. 30 years ago, this guy touched me. He didn't rape me. He touched me. He looked at me funny. They tried to get one of these rappers because when he hugged the woman, he moved his hips. Yeah, I want $10 million from that guy because he moved his hips when he touched me. That's sex. Men are angry. Men are very angry. I'm telling you, ladies, now, men are angry. And you've seen an uptick of women being assaulted. Sorry about that. But women are being assaulted and captured, kidnapped, and everything under the sun. And a lot of you think that this is happening because the guy is crazy. A lot of you thinking that these men who are going out and just harassing these women are just off their rocker. A lot of you think that these men want to sleep with you. These men aren't crazy, they're angry. They're furious because they know that they're trapped. They know it. You have to understand, before the Me Too movement, there was 1 million men who did not go to work. They were just like, we're not going back to work. And when the Me Too movement started, that number escalated. A lot of men lost their prominent jobs and positions. A lot of very wealthy men lost a lot of money on a lie. A lot of men, famous men, went to jail on a lie. Mike Tyson was lied on. He didn't do that to that girl. Tupac, lie. He didn't do it either. But that's how they get you. They get you in those courtrooms, and then they take your money. They rape you and take your money. And everybody knows this. You know, that's why they harass these black men who got money. You know, and try to say that they did something they didn't. You know, they tried to get Jay-Z on that whole bottle incident. He had to pay $1 million to get out of that. Like, why does this man have to pay for something he didn't do? So men are angry. And listen, ladies, you may think you're getting away with some money. You know, they tried to do the same thing to Chris Brown. And a lot of other rappers. Women try to lie just to get his money. They try to do the same thing to Drake. But you may think, even if you get away with a couple, $1,000 or $100,000 or whatever you get away with, somebody knows what you did. They know. They see what you did. They see you. They watched what happened. Why? Because it's all public. It goes to the court. Courts have public records, even if the person isn't famous. But now everything is on social media. So when you do something like that to a man and he comes out and he's like, I have no idea who this woman is. This is a whole lie. I'm innocent. And then the man gets, raped in jail. He comes out like, yo, he just mad as hell. The man gets, raped in court, and the court takes everything he has. He has nothing. They put him in jail. Has a hard time, and he gets out. Listen, jail is no place for anybody to be. It's not a party. All right, it's stinky. There's a bunch of people who don't know you and don't like you. The COs and wardens, they don't know, they don't like you. You are a nobody in prison. And the worst happens. So when that person gets out of there, they're thinking about the only thing they've been thinking about the whole time they was in there. It was revenge on the person I put them in there. And if they're too old and they can't get revenge, remember, it's public. Men see what other men are going through. And if they don't get you, they come after somebody who's in their life. This is why you see the divorce rate is crazy. These women are dropping men like it's nothing. And they're going to court and taking everything these men got. Men are noticing this. Now you see all these podcasts talking about how men don't want to be with women. We took notice, ladies. You used the courtroom to your advantage, and now men don't want to be with you. They don't want to be with you. They don't want to be around you. You got women who are screaming because there would be 5 guys hanging out and will not say nothing to a woman. These guys didn't say nothing to me. Nobody's talking to me. They'll go to these clubs and they'll be like, me and all my pretty friends were there. No man came up and say, well, it cost us our lives. Sometimes it costs us our life. It does. Sometimes men die from just being a man. And a lot of you women are going to screw man and blah, 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 blah. You keep doing that. You keep thinking that way. You keep thinking that way about the people who built this world. You keep that up. Keep that thought in mind. Because eventually it's going to come into your life and it's going to collapse right in front of you. And the men who are in your life, if you have this attitude, they're going to stay away from you. I don't care if they're related to you. They're not going to listen to you just beat up on random men who are out here doing good. I mean, you got some good guys who've been dragged through the courtrooms and the court system by some wife who decided to go out and give head to some random guy in a car. This actually just happened. You're going to go World Star Hip Hop. Guys pulling his wife out of a car where she was giving neck to a stranger. Like, you women think that your power is in your sexuality, and then you abuse that. Listen, your power is in your femininity, in your righteousness, in your humbleness. It's in the way that God built you, in your modesty. That's where your power is. You think the power is, in the cooch and all this other stuff, and you can just randomly, put your cooch out there on OnlyFans, and we're supposed to respect you. I don't respect no hoe on OnlyFans, not one of you. I don't care what your hustle is. I don't respect not one of you hoes on OnlyFans, not one. I'm here cleaning and mopping. I'm listening to you while I take a break. Cool, thanks for listening, but I don't respect none of you hoes. Because OnlyFans only gets you so far. And once you get your little bit of money, you have to understand, we all see you on OnlyFans. We know who you are. So when you come out here and you want to be Molly McButter all of a sudden, instead of being a hoe on OnlyFans, don't nobody want to deal with you. Then when you start raising up and getting angry at men and yada, 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 we just bring up your pictures and say, well, this is what you did. You showed your body, everything you had, everything, on OnlyFans for a small price, and that price is coming back to, it's 30 pieces of silver. You betrayed everything God made you to be. You betrayed it. There's your 30 pieces of silver. Had it. This is what you got. This is what all you have from that. Here's your 30 pieces. Knock yourself out. But don't expect us to, think that you're a virtuous woman because you're not. You're not a virtuous woman. You're a piece of trash. You know what I'm saying? That's what you are. That's what you want it to be. And if we can't, bust a nut and be out, then we don't want to deal with you. Because we're not going to look at you as somebody who we want to walk down the street with pride with. We want to have children with. This is not what we want. No, we want to get off and get gone. Yeah. Yeah, what's going on? Yeah, we want to get off and get gone. We don't want to deal with you on that level. And listen, like I said, ladies, all of this stuff you're doing to men. And listen, I'm not coming down on you, ladies. I'm trying to show you how to save your life. You know what I don't notice in these magazines that you ladies read so much and all these forums that you listen to so much? None of them tell you how to survive a man encounter. None of them do that. None of them tell you how to survive not getting your head blown off. They don't do that. Because men are angry. And you have to understand, really, wouldn't surprise me, man. You have to understand, when men are angry, we go into a frenzy. There is a place in men where it turns from civilized to animal. And I don't care what man you're talking to, we all have it. We turned into animals real quick. Yeah, happy Saturday to you too. Yeah, thank you very much. I'll look into it. We go from being a regular civilized being and saying this isn't right, you shouldn't do this, to having morals and scruples, to downright bloodlust. And it doesn't take much to get us there, especially when it involves another man. We all have it. We can easily be triggered, and a lot of stuff that's going on has caused us to go and retract into that. And now when we look at women, we don't look at women as soft and feminine, somebody you want to uphold. We look at you as the enemy. This is not what femininity wanted to tell you. They didn't tell you that if you keep, saying you're better than a man and you can do everything a man can do, they didn't tell you that a man is going to compete with you on every level. A man is not going to be soft and sweet to you. A man is not going to make love to you. When it comes to that bedroom, it's going to be war. They didn't tell you that. They didn't tell you that when you go to these jobs and these men that you work with and they look at you, they're not going to look at you and pull out chairs for you. They're not going to look at you and buy you lunch. They're going to look at you as another man. That's what you're going to do. You're just able to reproduce. They're going to look at you as another man. You're going to go to these jobs. You're going to get the hard jobs just like the man's going to get the hard jobs. And you're going to be forced to produce on the same rate a man does. Your body's going to break down the same way a man does and or more faster. Men don't have cycles. We can go and go and go until we die. That's what we're meant to do. We're meant to hunt until we fall off the face of the planet. You women are not built for that. But you're saying that you are built for that. So men are like, fine. We're tired of the harassment charges. You're saying that we're harassing you, or you're saying that we're not giving you an equal opportunity. Fine. You want to be the bricklayer? Be the bricklayer. You want to run the backhoe? Run the backhoe. We're fine. I like to see a woman running the backhoe out there in the cold with the rest of the men. Instead of standing there holding the sign, no, Get in tobacco, get with it. Go out there and help build a bridge. We want to see this. You want to be in engineering? Go ahead and get in engineering. We're just not talking about chemical engineering or biological engineering. We're talking about the engineers who get out there and help build these buildings, and put those steel rods there. You want to work at the train station? 100%. Get out there and help with those tracks. Here's a hammer. Here's some nails. Get out there and get with it. And we're expecting you to get it done. You want to be in the military? We're with you 100%. Guess what? We have a war coming up. Guess who's going to be in the vanguard? You women. And you're going to get snatched by men from the opposite side. And they're going to do heinous things to you. Why do we know this? Because it happened in the Iraqi war. We know this. They snatched up our women. They took them. They did whatever they wanted to them. They dropped. They did heinous crimes to these women, and then they let them go and come back to America just to tell America what they did. We already know what it's like. So if that's what you're looking forward to, fine, because you're going to go toe to toe with a man from some other country when you're going head to head. You're going to fight mano a mano with someone head to head. And we're not always going to be able to save you. You're not going to whimper and we're going to come running. No, because you're no longer a woman to us. You just have different body parts. You're not soft and sweet to us anymore. You're not some dainty, holy. No. You want to be like a man. We're not going to come. We're going to think that you can get yourself out of that. So if you're in a 1v1 with one of these huge guys that we are used to fighting, these guys who actually know how to get down, who are faster than you, stronger than you, who have been fighting all their lives, guess what? He's going to jack you up. And if you survive, it'll be a miracle of God. I'm telling you, you're going to be on the vanguard of the next war. Because women can do anything a man can do, and they can do it better. This is a relief to us. Oh, you can do it better? There are more women on the planet than there are men. Oh, fine. Go out there and fight these wars. 100%. Go and build these cars. 100. I used to work at a car company. There's a lot of women in there. More and more women getting in there and building these cars. 100%. And we're not talking about just managers. Oh, I'm going to oversee the men. No, you're not. You're going to get down here and you're going to climb into these cars and you're going to put these screws into here and this, that, and the third. This is what they got them doing. All that femininity stuff is out of the way. It's out completely. And this is not what you women wanted. I'm telling you, this is a dangerous thing for a woman. Because now when a man sees you on the street and he wants something from you, he wants the only thing of value to him. That's what he wants. And this is what you're seeing now. You're seeing like a recent video, the girl was by herself and the man asked for her phone number. She said, no, I'm good. He said, well, can I have your Snapchat? She said, no. He said, and he named off a bunch of other social media. And she said, no. She's like, I'm good. And then she told him to go away. Now, this is in the parking lot. And the man's pushing the car. And he was like, I can't have your Instagram. Like, I've asked women for their Instagram before. I didn't want to be bothered with them. I just wanted to look at them. And I told them that. I was like, look, I just want to look at you. And they were like, fine, here's my Instagram. And I went away. I didn't bother them when I saw them again. I got their Instagram. They were good looking. Boom. He's like, can I have yours? She's like, no, go away. He was like, okay, fine. This is your car? She was like, yeah. He took the car and rammed it up against her car and put a big ass dent in it and rolled out. Now, he was wrong 100%. She said, go away. He should have beat it. But you're not dealing with chivalry anymore. That's out. You're not dealing with morality at its highest level. The men aren't walking around with suits and hats on like they used to. They're walking around ready for war at all times. I mean, there's a guy who just ran a woman over on a scooter. Boom, hit her, the woman went flying. You think he jumped out the car and helped that woman? No, he jumped out the car and ran. Or the woman who was the crackhead woman who's at the store, outside of the store, and her water broke. And she's having a baby laying right there. And all the men around her are looking at her like, what should we do? And she's laying there having a baby. The whole nine, she's at her most vulnerable form, and they're laughing at her. Men are angry. They don't think you need our help anymore. According to all of this stuff that you women believe, you are no longer a woman to us. You just have a womb. You're the same to us. You can match our strength. You're as fast as us. Your mouth just goes and goes and goes. The words you say can spark a war at any given time. You women are carrying weapons. All of these things, you women have stepped up your masculinity game. And now, no man is going to look at you and be like, oh, this is just a woman. They're going to look at you as a competitor. They're going to look at you as a threat. You have some who have decided that they don't want any woman in their life. Not because they know the risk of an accusation. And not only that, they don't want to come to your rescue. Oh, could you help me with? No. The more women that do me wrong, the less I am to help them. I used to be the first one to pull over when I saw a woman on the side of the road and her car stuck. Not anymore. Because I know she's going to look at me funny. When she sees my face, she's going to be like, Well, then stay out here in the cold rain. Because I'm not handsome. I'm not her version of handsome. Okay? I'm walking up and down these streets and these women treat me like I'm some kind of scourge. I say, okay. See, I'm not going to take it out on them. But the next woman I see that needs help, I'm not going to help her. Because she's just like you. Men are angry. And they're becoming more and more violent. And more outspoken towards their violence. And there's more men who are joining in that network of being violent towards women. And this is not what you wanted. Look, you got men who are punching women in the face. Punching them. Knocking them out. You got women who are full on attacking these men, thinking that there's some wall there that these men won't defend themselves. And they're not doing the whole face palm that we used to do, like going about your business. Oh, no. They're taking great joy in punching you in the face. Punch it. A full-grown man, big. Look at World Star Hip Hop. These men are knocking these women out and looking at them like, now what? Men are angry, ladies. And like I said, none of these books, none of these forums, none of these little places that you listen to all this bullcrap about you being as good as us or better than us or whatever are telling you the truth. They're not telling you how to survive us. They're not giving you one bit, not one tip on how to survive an angry man encounter. And most of you think it's not going to happen to you until it does. Until it does. And when it does happen to you, you're going to think, I'm going to put these two hands up. I'm going to go and grab this. Hell, I might, if I have time, I'm going to call, the police. I'm going to call a family member. You're gonna try to call somebody. Well, it's not even coming down to that anymore because now the trouble is coming right to your doorstep. It's not time to call anybody. These men are trying to come to your doorstep. And that's what they've been doing recently. They've been coming directly to your doorstep. And I don't mean metaphorically, I mean straight to your doorstep. These men have been following women home. Some of your delivery drivers, your random guy that's walking down the street, some of your neighbors, clocking all your movements, your children, watching them. It's bad. And a lot of you women are single because you have a bad mouth. You probably look good as heck, but you have a terrible mouth. Terrible mouth. And anybody who you don't deem worthy, you let that guy know, don't come around here. Well, when you did that, that guy told other guys. And other guys who said, yes, she did the same thing to me. Well, when you're in distress, we're not going to help you. We're just going to look at you because you pretty much rejected us in every way. We're not going to be like, we're not going to feel sorry for you. We're going to feel sorry for the kids because they can't defend themselves. But we're not going to feel sorry for that loudmouth mother. Nope. You shunned every bit of help that you could have gotten. Every bit. Okay. Women, you do not want to be alone. You do not want to play this game. Get off your high horse. There's nothing wrong with having some men friends who are cool with you, who are good guys. You don't have to sleep with them. Sorry about that. You don't have to sleep with them. But there's nothing wrong with having a good guy in your life. Just a good, regular guy. I seen women wild out on men like the Tasmanian Devil. And you know what? Those women are going to get their neck broke. Because, see, you wild out like that because you think that there's some help somewhere. Yeah, you think that you're going to get some help somewhere, or you think that man's going to back down because he's a man. Well, you can only hit a man one time too many. And then he's going to complete, I'm telling you, he's going to go from rational to irrational. He's going to go from this is a woman to this is my competitor. And once he dips in a competitor, it's, it's fight or flight. Once that autonomic system kicks in, it's all of his strength against yours. And you better hope he doesn't enter into bloodlust. Because if he does, he's going to beat you like he's going to beat a man. He's going to beat you until you stop moving. You ever seen some of these street fights? They end up with someone not moving. That's the way we fight. We fight till the competitor's done. Till there's no more fight in the competitor. That's how we fight. Women don't fight like that. Women do not fight until the competitor is completely finished. Women fight until they get tired. Men don't do that. We fight until you're done. Completely done. That's how we fight. That's how we're taught to fight. We fight you until you are no longer a possible threat. Women do not fight like that. Not on a regular basis. They do not do that. They just beat a girl up until they're tired. And they talk to her and they make sure the girl, understands. We do not do that. No. We're gonna smash you until there's nothing left of you. Just go look at how men fight. And I'm telling you, the majority of the time, the other guy can no longer compete. And he's usually not awake. Usually in La La Land. That's how we fight. That's how we're taught to fight. You don't want that as a woman. You may beat up some, little guy every now and then. Some of the little guys, you know what I'm saying? You may beat up somebody. You might win a fight or two. But eventually, you're going to run into that deal. And he's going to beat you mercilessly. And he's going to enjoy it. I'm just telling you, ladies, don't be on this side of men. Make sure if there is any violence coming towards you, if there is a man who approaches you, make sure that you let that person know at a distance. I'm not interested. At a distance, and make it to some kind of safety if you're alone. Ladies, I'm telling you, stop being alone too. There is strength in numbers. There is. If you look at most animals that fight, but when they get into a fight, they try to make themselves seem larger because it intimidates the other animal. That's how you need to think. There's nothing wrong with walking around with 2 or 3 of you. Not at all. There's nothing wrong with arming yourself. Not whatsoever. With something. But just standing outside by yourself, you're asking for it. And I know it's wrong to say, why are we asking for it just because we're standing outside? Listen, normal is gone. There's no more normal. Normal is a thing of the past, ladies. Quit thinking that everybody needs to conform to what you think is normal. Rational is no longer the thing of the present. No. People aren't thinking that way anymore. You need to get on the world's level. Quit thinking that good cooch is going to get you some type of reprieve. We don't care. You find out a lot of men do not care about your body. That's not what they're after. I know women think in America that their badge is the end all to be all, but you got to understand a lot of times men don't care about that. They don't care. If they come after you, there's something that they want that's usually not between your legs. Sometimes it's pure violence. Sometimes it's 100% unadulterated, pure get back. I'm just warning you now. That's the world we live in. If they wanted to sleep with you, they would tell you. But a lot of you women who are rejecting these men, you're doing stuff like rejecting men and then you're laughing in their face. This is how you end up dead. This is how you end up dead. And none of these forums are telling you this. You saw a couple of dudes fight men who hit their mom. Oh yeah, they were not able to get up. Yeah, we men fight men. Yeah, until men can't move. Why? Because you're always a threat. You gotta understand, a man. The way men look at other men when they go up against them is everything that a man has. All of our body parts are a threat. A kick can disable another man and send him in, can kill him. One strong kick can hit a man square in the nose, goes up into his brain, that's it. If you don't believe me, there's a video on World Star where these two men get into it. And the one guy is not a bodybuilder, but he was a heavy lifter. And that's what he did for his sport. He lifted heavy weights. And the other guy was an MMA fighter. He was a shorter guy, skinnier. I mean, this guy had him by almost 100 pounds. Well, they get into an argument and decide to take it outside. Now, of course, the big man thinks he's going to whoop this little guy. But he must have missed the title of what this man does for a living because he said, I'm an MMA fighter. Well, they squared up. And that big man was all muscle and slow and That little guy was all speed and technique. He squared that guy straight up and roundhouse kicked that guy right in the face and knocked him out clean before he hit the ground. And when he hit the ground, it killed him. Just like that. One roundhouse kick to the face killed him. That guy never got up on his own. He was dead. So this happens. This is the reason why men beat men until they can't move. Because everything a man has is lethal. If a his arm is still moving, he can have anything in that arm, he can have anything in his hand, or he can just use his hand and he can knock you out. Look at some of these MMA fighters. When they're fighting, one guy still has his hand loose somewhere. That guy is worried about his hand. Because one hit to the temple, boom, you're going out. That's why men fight so viciously. We try to take you out of the picture. We don't want you to be able to compete at all. This is why it's also dangerous to get into a fight, because in your rage, while you're trying to beat this man into submission, you can actually kill him. You can kill him. And there have been plenty of guys who've gone to jail for involuntary manslaughter. Ladies, you don't want to be on this side of a man. I mean, I'm just seeing video after video where these guys are following these women home. And these women are running into their house and blocking their door right on time before these guys get to them. Some of them aren't so lucky. And these guys don't know these women. But they're angry. What they know is you're a woman. And the society touts you to be as strong as we are. So fine. It's on. You're as strong as we are. Let's see it. And it's just not true. You're not as strong as we are. You're not even close. And you don't want to be. You don't want to be as strong as we are. What you want to be is a helpmate. That's what you want to be. You want to be a helper. You want to be a helpmate. You can be a warrior princess all you want. But eventually they lost against men. And if you don't believe that, just look at history and tell me what society of women conquered the planet. And there were warrior princesses. There were warrior females. There were plenty of them because there's more females than men. There are plenty of them, but none of them conquered the planet. None of them. They were able to hold their own whenever you come into their territory, but eventually they got beat too. For all of their cunning, which is what you're good at, and planning and strategy, which is what you're good at, you cannot match our strength. You're not made for it. You can't match our speed. And the Olympics is finding this out. The Olympics is a perfect illustration of this. You can't match our speed. Even your best is our average. Elaine Thompson-Herah runs a 10.6 or a 10.5, something like that. Our average guy, our average sprinter runs a 10.2, 10.1. When I say average, I mean the average competing guy on the diamond level. You see what I mean? Our average man, our average guy on that level runs within 10.3, 10.1. I mean, if you're running a 10-3, you're not going to win anything. But that's where our average is. When you get notices, when you start going 9-9, 9-8, those are the guys who win. Ronnie Bakers, stuff like that. When you start getting down into the 9-8s and Justin Gatlin, and then you start dipping in a Asafa Powell 9-7s, and then you dip into Usain Bolt 9-5s, you're the fastest person on the planet. You know what a 9-5 looks like against a 10-5? It is a complete slaughter when it comes to the 100 yards. It's not even competitive. Usain Bolt can jog Elaine Thompson-Herah's fastest speed. And I mean that literally. He can run beside her and look at her the whole time while she's blowing it out. He can just jog beside her and leave her in a dust. A man's average speed and strength is a woman's best. You cannot compete with us. Even look at the people who throw the javelin and all that other kind of stuff. As good and meticulous as a woman is, she cannot throw that javelin as far as a man. She can't throw the hammer as far as a man. You got some women who can bench press 315. That is an anomaly. But when it comes to getting into weightlifting and competing, that 315 is an average man. That's not a guy who lifts weights all the time. It just isn't. Our average when it comes to a weightlifter is somewhere around 450. Ain't no woman benching 450. And that's an average weightlifter, like I said, on that level. So you women aren't made to compete with us. Now, if you have a man who is putting himself at a higher level of physical performance, which is something we stress. Get out there, get to the gym, do this, that, and the third. And this guy comes to see an average woman, and they get into some type of confrontation. It's going to be a slaughter. It's going to be an all-out slaughter. That woman's not going to have a chance. That guy's going to be able to pick that woman up over his head and toss her. So I'm saying this is not what you want. This is not bragging. This is the way God made us. You don't want to be on that end of the fight. There's no glory in getting sent to the hospital and getting your face rearranged. Look, all these feminists aren't going to come to your aid and no, you're on your own. You're not going to have Alyssa Milano come out and talk on your behalf. You're not. You'd be lucky to get a family visitor. And even if they put this guy in jail, he's not going to stay there. They're going to put it in there for assault. Simple assault. If he didn't hit you with nothing, it's not assault with a deadly weapon. If his hands aren't registered, it's not assault with a deadly weapon. He's going in for assault. He'll do 10 years, maybe 5. He's going to get out within the same decade. You see what I mean? And if it's some of these nutso guys, they're used to that. They'll go sit out for 5 years like it's nothing. Thank you. I don't have to pay rent. I don't have to buy food, no insurance. I'm good. This is not where you want to be, ladies. Men are angry. And you women are not getting the picture. You don't understand who you're competing with because of some sugary, flowery, societal bullcrap that has allowed you some type of leeway of chivalry that is no longer there. You women have told us do not open doors for you. Don't open doors for me. I'm not weak. No, you women should be saying, please open the door for me. Telling you now, if a man is offering you a monicum of some type of, women should be saying thank you. Turn the whole thing around on his head. Remind him of what his position is. And I'm telling you, that man will fall in line. Even an angry man. Even an angry man. Yeah, I mean, if he's just stark raving mad, just mad at all women, and you show a modicum of femininity towards him, I'm telling you, he will fall in line. He will. He'll fall in line. Because that's your power. That's your power over us. Being feminine is a power over us to get what you want. Being sweet to us, being nice to us. That's your power over us. It's not in your cooch. It's in your mind. It's in the way that you think. It's in the way that you present yourself. Wear a dress. Wear a nice dress. Stop going to the gym with your ass out. It makes us upset. Because listen, men want to have sex all the time. It's a driving force that's just crazy. So when we see a nice booty, we want it. You're lying if you think that men don't want it. Society has told us not to want that woman even though her ass is out. No, it doesn't work. And society is breaking down. See, this is the problem. Like I said, there's no more normal. So society is breaking down more and more. And the more it breaks down, the more it breaks down what men and women are supposed to think and do. Okay, so in every empire, the reason why those empires and societies start falling apart is because they could not recognize the difference between men and women in every single one. It's where men wanted to be women and women wanted to be men. Why do you think that happened? In every societal breakdown, in every empire, the Roman Empire, you can go back to Nebuchadnezzar, in all of their nonsense. Why did it break down? Because men wanted to be women and women wanted to be men. Why? Because it breaks down the rules of what God made. When the women are no longer the support system that God made them to be, and men are no longer the fighting force that God made them to be. Look at the men now. Look at a bunch of these men now. They're more feminine than women. You got more men that are twisting their neck and wrist and hips than women, and they go hard in the paint with it. Look, if you just go and look at our society and just look, it's so bad that it's documented. Look at a black society and look at how many men are either down low or homosexuals. It's an alarming amount. And the ones who are drag queens and all that, when I say they go hard in the paint, they go hard in the paint. And they're more feminine than any woman out here. Why is this a problem? Because they are no longer the fighting force that they're meant to be. And you women who encourage this, you are goofy as hell. Because when you encourage this, you're encouraging these men not to protect you. That's your protection that you're encouraging to be like you. Which means when the battle comes to you and it comes to your doorstep, it's you against the world. It's not you and a man against the world. It's you and a man acting like a woman against the world. You are not our equal when it comes to raw strength. So if this man is not acting like a man, if he doesn't have that warrior spirit in him, if he isn't out there protecting and working and doing the things he's meant to do, building a safe place, building a place where your kids can get educated, if he's not out there doing those things, and if he wants to be feminine, then guess what's going to happen when the battle comes to you? You're going to lose. Do not encourage these men to be homosexuals. Do not, yay, sis, and all this other stupid. If they want to be homosexuals, just say fine, but that's what you want to do. But I'm not going to encourage you to do it. I'm not going to hate on you because that's your choice. That's what you choose to do. But I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to go out shopping with you. I'm not going to sit up and talk about men with you and sexual. I'm not doing none of that. Because you're not in the position where you're supposed to be to help me. You're not going to help my daughter being like that. Your daughter's not getting, and the thing about it is, when one of you women piss off one of these gay men, they go and slap you upside your head. Why? Because they think they're women. And a woman can hit another woman. Because in their mind and in your mind, they're women. So they can knock you out because they still have the strength of a man, but you two identify as both the same gender. So all bets are off. This is why society breaks down. When a man wants to be a woman and a woman wants to be a man. It's just not possible. No matter how many augmentations that you have, I don't care what you do to that man's genitals to make it look like a female. He does not carry eggs. And that's the whole point of being a woman. She carries eggs. Those eggs need to be fertilized. You turn a man into a woman, he does not carry eggs. I'm telling you, men are angry. And you women have to bring these men back into the fold. And the only way of doing that is being what God meant you to be. It's not competing with us. If there is a man who is so angry that you can't compete with him, do not try to. Don't try to compete with that man. Don't. But do not hate on that man. A lot of you women are getting in trouble because of the way you reject a man. When you're dealing with an irrational world, which is where we're at, where the police aren't always going to come to your aid. Hell, the police are the ones who are kidnapping a bunch of these men, women, these children. The police are doing it. And you're hoping a good cop comes and saves you? No, you are the first responder. You are your first responder. It's not up to the police to be responsible to come and save your life when your mouth could save your life. A guy stomped a man to death who was an inmate with him, failed to inform him. He was born a man. These transgender people are in trouble. And that's why there's so many crimes against them. Because transgender people don't want to tell you that they're transgender. And listen, if you're like me, I'm a whole man's man. I do man stuff. I'm 100% man. I like the women's, I like boobs, breasts, the soft legs, the hair, the way you smell. I love all that. I love all that. But if you and I get involved and I find out that you a goddamn man, yeah, I'm telling you, it's not going to be good for you. It's not going to be a good look for you. It's going to be bad. The reaction is going to be violent. It's going to be very violent because you held that from me, especially if I came in contact with you. If you and I kissed or something like that, the reaction is going to be very bad for you. It's not going to be something that anybody wants. You're going to be in competition with me, and we're going to fight. And I'm not looking forward to that because this is a whole man you'll be fighting. But there are a lot of transgender who are losing their lives because they will not tell another man that they were a man and that they are a man. See, some of these transgenders are not, they didn't get the whole thing done. Now you got some men who actually like transgenders, and that's your business. But when it comes to a solid man, 100% man, who wants a woman and has vetted you, you're talking soft, you look soft, you look at all these things that a man wants, and you present yourself as a man. Instead of Carl, you're Carrie instead of Carl. You know, that's your real name is Carl, but you run around Carrie. And the man can't detect that you're a Carl because you women transgenders are so good at it. And then, you go out on a date and all this, and he kisses you goodnight or something. And, nonetheless, he's like, yo, something's not right here. And you're like, what do you mean? He's like, yo, something's not right with you. Like, are you a dude? Your best bet would be to keep lying to him until you get indoors. Because if you say yes, you chose violence. You chose violence. You woke up and you chose violence. And now you're seeing transgenders dead. And it's simply because they didn't tell them at the beginning. Now, if a transgender says, hey, I'm a trans, put that on their social media. And when you meet them, you're like, you do know that I'm a guy. I'm a transgender. And the guy's like, yeah, okay, cool. Fine. Then everything's fine. But if the guy's like, you know what? I did not know that. My bad. I'm out. Thank you for telling me. You're probably never going to be in contact with him again. And don't try to contact with him again. That's another problem transgender has. They want to be accepted so bad, they want people to accept them and think that there's some moral code for accepting them. And then, as a transgender, I don't understand why go after men. Why go after men? I'm just confused at the whole transgender thing. I don't usually bother with it. I'm confused. But what I do know that if you mess around with a whole man and he finds out that you're transgender, there's a good chance that he's going to choose violence. And here's the thing. No regular man is going to feel sorry for you. Because we have to live with it. And it's a good chance you're going to tell your friends what happened. And how are you going to do that? You're going to put it on social media. And once you put that man on social media, you blast him. That's it. All his friends know. His family knows. And it could be a complete mistake. You'll get on there and you'll tell a complete lie. Yeah, we hung out, we had sex, and the guy's like, I never slept with you. Well, now he has to try to defend himself. I never slept with you. I asked you, was you a transgender? And you were just like, yeah, I'm a guy. And once he found out he dipped, he never touched you. That's not the story that's going to be told because they want to sensationalize everything. And that's what they'll do. Yeah, we had sex, we did this, we did that. Like, I never did that. Well, the damage is done. And if he has a particular job, it's really going to be hard for him. So if he's a football player or a baseball player, if he's sponsored, and I mean, just think about that. If he's in some type of sport and he's sponsored, if he's a hockey player, he's sponsored, basketball player, something, and they come out and say, you slept with this transgender. And it's a whole lie. And they have pictures of you and the transgender, but they don't have any proof that you slept with him. Guess what everybody's going to think? You slept with him and you're denying him. And then they're going to attack you. If you're like, yo, Carl, quit telling people that I did this, it never happened. People are going to be like, what? What's the word they call it? Transphobic. You'll be like, I'm not transphobic. I asked, was it a man? He said, yeah, I'm a man, and I left. And now you have to fight this whole transphobic. And if you're not careful, you're going to lose your sponsors. Because once they put the moniker of transphobic on you, there goes Pepsi, there goes Coca-Cola, there goes your Nike deal, there goes millions and millions and millions of dollars simply because transphobic. So-and-so is transphobic. You're like, I'm not transphobic. I'm not interested. All because of a lie. And this is happening. This is happening right now. So I'm telling you guys, be careful. Men are angry. We're fed up. Then you have the women who are trapping men and then taking their babies from them. Like Brittany Rayner. Brittany Rayner and now Brittany Rayner is on college campuses looking for young men. Brittany Rayner is not going to be, let's just say that if she's not careful, she's only got a few birthdays left. Because you're playing with men on purpose and you're bragging about it and you're taking what's sacred from men or children. You made that child. You faked the whole relationship. You faked the whole marriage. And then you took that child away from the father. And then you charged the father in order to see the child. And you did this all in public with a smile. And then decided, I'm going to go and find a guy who's even younger than you and do it all again. It's only a short time before it catches up with Brittany Rayner. And I'm going to tell you what's going to happen to her. It's going to be one of a few things. It's going to be the females and the families of these men who she's doing this to are going to catch this girl because she's very public. And these are going to be some rumblefish that are going to catch her. They're not going to be, shiny hair, Instagram models who's going to catch her. They're going to be some hood chicks. And they're going to be, they're going to catch her. They're going to catch her. And they're going to catch her in public. And they're going to beat her down. Because she's messing with your money. She's messing with your family. And as a guy, you can't go and run up on her. But as a woman, there is no holds barred. They're going to catch this very public figure and they're going to beat her ass. And it's going to happen more than once. It is. It's going to happen more than once. And that's just going to be the warning shot. If she keeps doing it, it's going to be bad for Brittany. I'm just saying. Men are angry. Men are very angry. And we know that the court system is a lie. We know that divorce lawyers are liars. We know that judges are liars. The police are liars. We know that it's not an honest system. We know the whole system is made up in order to get money from the citizen. This is why you can't travel with a bunch of money, because if the police stop you, they're going to take the money, and then they're going to tell you you're not going to see the money again. If you have $10,000, they're not going to arrest you. They're going to detain you, take your $10,000, put it into their pocket, and then that's it. You're not going to see the $10,000 again. The police are robbing people, and they're saying because they're drug dealers who travel along these routes, that we're taking money. And you're like, well, I'm going to sue you. And like, it's going to cost you 5 G's just to try to get your money back. This is what the police are doing. And the federal police are doing it too. If you're traveling into these airports and you're carrying $50,000 and they see that, they're going to take your money and they're going to say, because you're some type of dealer or whatever, which is probably not going to be true, and they're going to take it and you'll never hear from them. And they're just going to put it in their pocket and go spend it on their wives. The police system is robbing the people of every resource. If they want your car, they'll take it. If they want your woman, they'll take her. If they want your children, they'll take them. They're taking anything that they want. If they want your home, they'll take it. I was talking to a guy who sold me a refrigerator. He says, I'm selling all this stuff because the police beat my ass, and then, I couldn't afford to be in my home anymore. He's a white guy. He said he tried to go through the court system, it didn't help. He tried to sue the police, didn't help. They are gangsters. Listen, quit thinking how the police are on your side. There's some police out there who might be, but the whole system is rigged. It's rigged so they can take whatever they want legally. This is everything they want. Anything they want, they can take. There's not nothing that the police can take that is a possession that they can't take. And they can do it legally, tie you up in court. Hell, they can tie you up in your basement. Legally, they can come into your house, take whatever they want from your house, and say it was a warrant. Look what happened to Breonna Taylor. They came into her house and shot her 28 times because they said there was some type of trafficking, right? The boyfriend was a drug trafficker, and he was having boxes sent from the mail to us. And you know what the mail people said? The U.S. Post Office said, that's not even true. There were no packages sent to her house that were suspicious. We had nothing to do with this. Then they issued a warrant, and the warrant was false. And it was a no-knock warrant for a drug dealer that no longer lived there. The boyfriend that she was involved with didn't even live there. She left that guy, and she was with a new boyfriend who came down and shot at the police because they had a no-knock warrant, which means they just busted in their house. So he's defending himself, pulls out his revolver, and starts clapping. They shot her 28 times and didn't do any jail time. And the only reason why one of them was indicted is because he shot through the wall and it went to the other apartment. They're not on your side. They're not on your side. So, ladies, with the society that we have that is breaking down today, you need to wake up and be completely. Listen, society is telling women, if you had sex with a man 10 years ago, and now you decide that that man has sex with you against your will, you can say he raped you. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 30 years ago, that man sexually harassed you. That man raped you. You can do this now. Ladies, don't do this. Do not do this. Do not do this. And I'm not even begging you for my sake. I'm begging you for your sake. Do not do this. Don't take their advice. It's going to be bad. Don't do this. Allergies. Do not take their advice and do this. It's not cute, and it's not going to work out for you. Listen, if you care about your other female compadres, do not listen to what these stupid people are saying. This is another way of breaking down. This is why societies crash. Because of stuff like this. You're going to go back 10 years when you had consensual sex and then say a guy raped you. This guy isn't even in your life anymore. And then you're going to go after this guy and try to put him in prison? I would never take his place. My sis had a joke. I'm from Missouri. You have to show me. I will never take his. I don't know what you mean by that. But nonetheless, yeah, Missouri, show me state. But nonetheless, ladies, don't do this. Because listen, everything that you women are doing to men is all social media. And men are reacting to it. Hey, you know what the worst thing to do to a dog is? Back him up in a corner. I don't care what size dog that is. That dog is going to show his teeth. When that dog thinks there's no other recourse, that dog can be a little Yorkie. That Yorkie's going to show his teeth. He's going to start barking. He's going to show them damn teethuses. And once he starts showing them teeth, that's it. He's going to come out swinging. He's going to give everything he's got and try to best this Doberman picture. But it's not going to work. But he's going to try. He ain't got no choice. You do not want to do this. Stop backing men into a corner. Don't do it. Listen, if you ladies don't want to have consensual sex, don't have consensual sex. Like, don't listen. Just don't have sex. Don't. These women who are doing this are not on your side. They're setting you up to fail. That's what I'm saying. All these rules. If you go out with a man and you have one drink of wine, this is what they're saying. You have one drink of wine, and y'all go back to your place and have a good evening. You Netflix and chill. You get horny. You do what adults do. You make love to each other. It's great. You date each other for a year. Then he has to go to China because he has a job over there or something. And things just long distance, they fall apart like things do. That's it. It was great. It lasted a year. Boom. And then 5 years later, you're like, you know what? That guy's doing good. He's doing good. That guy's doing good. And me, COVID, older now, 30s, 35. That guy's doing really good. He's doing really good. He's got some traction. He made about $1 million last year. You know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and lie on him. He's back in the States now, too. I've been following his social media. I think I'm going to lie on him. So so I can get 250,000. Yeah, I am alive on David. And then you know, hit a lawyer up. And the lawyer is like, yeah, you can do this. Next thing you know, David gets a letter, a lawsuit, telling him to appear in court in a state he no longer lives in from a woman he has nothing to do with. And you're like, I don't even remember this woman. Not like that. Like, I got a new woman. I'm married. I got a kid now. What are you talking about? She don't like none of that. You got a kid. You happy. You got a wife. Another woman sees that. Oh, she yeah. Oh, it ain't me. You ain't married me. You ain't put a baby in me and put a ring on my finger. I'm ruining all this. I'm getting all in this ass. And tries to take you to court and sue you, and then tries to put you in jail, and successfully does it. And so, you know, you're doing 5 to 15 from an accusation. Family gone. Your wife is like, what the hell? Like, and the wife can't even defend you because she's a woman. She can't properly defend you. That's the real ugly truth about it. A woman cannot defend a woman. Because if she does, she's going to take the same privilege that that woman is using away from herself. She can't. She's going to be like, well, if I step up against this woman, then if this happens to me, I'm not going to have any ammunition. She's going to have to ride the wave. She's going to have to be married to a man in jail for the next 5 to 10 years. And that child is going to be 13, 14. Daddy gets out of jail. Little girl's 13, 14. She done found herself a little boyfriend. She got tattoos. The little girl's got, you know, she's a blonde head. Her hair is black now. Running around listening to any kind of rebel music. She's got a black boyfriend. He's 18. Oh, it all went to pot. And the other woman got $250,000 cash after taxes and the lawyer fee. So all the money that you had is wiped out. Wiped out. And now when you get out, the job that you had is completely gone because you are a convicted felon. And that's not going nowhere. You can't get it expunged because it will not come off your BCI record. Now, hopefully the wife still loves you and the kids still love you, but with the way society is today, there's a good chance she divorced you about a year into it. She stopped sending you letters about 2 years into it. She got remarried about 4 years into it. Now your kid's got a stepdaddy. And that could go all to pieces. But hopefully he's a good man. But still, he's a black guy. He's a black guy, black as hell. Big, tall, black guy, muscular as hell. So the next time he shows up, you know, you show up in court, you want her to show up in court, she shows up with his big black ass, sitting next to your daughter. Put his hand around your wife. It's terrible, but it's happening. It's happening. It is happening today. You women, I'm telling you, men are very angry. And protect yourself. Protect yourself. Get with a girlfriend or two. Stop going out by yourself. You see where that one chick was by herself and she was at the gas station? And the gas station, the doors were closed. So it's where you can walk up to the window. And there was about 10 guys hanging out. When she got out that car, started walking up to them, they started walking with her stride for stride. Yo, what's up, Ma? How you doing? You know, blah, blah, blah. She's like, nah, I'm good. She didn't want nothing to do with any of them. They surrounded that girl so quick. And they stayed in her face. And the more she said no, the angrier they got. Until they hit her. And one of them, I think he spit on her and bit her. She had to go to the hospital. Her whole face was lit up. I'm telling you, men are angry. Like, you women are walking around like it's not true. Like you're some Billy Badass. Listen, even a guy is not excited about taking on more than 2 guys. 2 guys, maybe. We could probably knock 2 guys out. 3 guys, once they get around your field of vision, you can't see what's coming. This is where you see guys get sucker punched. That usually happens when it's about 3 guys or more. 2 guys, you can keep your eye on them. 3 guys, it gets tough. You have to be quick. Very quick. Very quick. I'm just telling you as a guy. As a guy who can fight. When it comes to 2 or more guys, when it comes to 3 or more guys, it's tough. It's very, very tough. Because they can get around your field of vision. And they can get around your peripheral. So if you have 6 fists coming at you, it's a tough one. 2, you can survive that. You know, most likely. Especially if they're non-fighters. You know, but if they are fighters, man, it's just hard. It's just a hard battle. You know, 2 guys your size, your age, and your skill, and don't let them be younger than you. I'm in my 50s. I'm not trying to fight anyone. But a 30-year-old is way faster than me. And I've gotten to it with 2 guys, but they realized that I knew how to fight. I didn't have to throw a punch. What I did was I invited them. I was like, oh, you just hit me, let's go. So I went to the street because that's how we do it back in the day. And I was like, let's go. In my field of vision, I had both of them. Well, until one of them announced that he had a knife. And I looked over at him and he had a knife. And that was the end of the fight. There's nothing I could do. So imagine if it was 3. I mean, you got 1, 2, and then 1 behind me. And if the one behind me did say he had a knife, it's lights out. This is why 3 guys or more it's a bad deal. 2 guys you'd probably be able to handle. Now, if he didn't have a knife, let's just say I would have had a great time beating them up. Last 2 guys who approached me last year, one of them pulled a gun on me. And I said, okay, fine, but you're still going to get out the street. They were blocking the street. So I got out of my truck and told them to get the hell out the road. Well, they pulled a gun on me. I looked at him, I looked at the gun, and I said, it doesn't matter. You still better, get off the street. They got in their car and got out of the street. So I'm just saying, you ladies, stop walking around like these idiots are not out there because they're pulling knives and guns on me. Remind you, I am 280 pounds. 280. I'm not a small man. If you want to know how much 280 is, go in the gym and try to lift it. I am 280 pounds of moving parts. And I'm not slow. Even though I'm old. I'm just not as quick as I was when I was 30. But I'm not slow. I work out. I'm a 53-year-old man. I wear tears on my body. But I have to pick up refrigerators and appliances. I have to move these things around. on my own sometimes. So I have to go to the gym, or if I don't, I'll get injured. So if they're pulling knives and guns on me and they're off their goddamn rocker, what do you think they're going to do to you? How are you going to compete with that? I want one of these magazines to write about this. What are we supposed to do when the police aren't exactly on our side anymore? They're not. You can't trust them. Good luck. Hope you get a good cop when you call them, if it even goes down that far. Some of you are armed and you brag about, having a gun. Here's the problem with that. Some of you women are armed. That's fine. But you're still not equipped like a man is. Your ability as a hunter and gatherer is not the same as ours. Your muscle tension is 17 times less than ours. Your hand speed is slower than ours, even though there are some exceptions. Your ability to accelerate from 1 to 40 is a lot slower than ours. Our ability from 1 to 40 is within the 6 and 5s. Yours is in the 7s. We can cover a short distance a lot faster than you can. And because of this, your reaction time is a lot slower than ours. I put it to you like this. If you get someone who is well-trained, and a woman who is not trained at all, that woman is moving in slow motion. Now, if you get 2 average people, you're still moving seconds slower than the average man. So your reaction time to grab and set, aim, take off safety, pull the trigger is going to be a lot slower than what you think. Even if you practice this. And you're going to go to the range, you'll see women clunk, 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 and shooting at targets that aren't going anywhere. You'll see them already at an autonomic, heightened fight or flight, situation. But when it comes to real time, and you don't know where this attackers come from, and when you see on World Star Hip Hop where these attackers are coming from, they're coming from all angles. By the time you're able to, that person's already on you. And even a shot off, it might wound, but it might not stop. I put it to you like this. There's a guy I know, or I knew. He's from Pittsburgh. I met him once in the club, right? He's a bouncer. Big dude. Called him Black. The reason why I was talking because he was so big. I was like, dude, you're huge. He was like, yeah, man. I was like, you play for Pittsburgh? Nah, man. When I say big, he was big. He's a bouncer. But he was a cool ass drug dealer. He used to be. He used to be a drug dealer. This is what happened to him. He was like, nah, man, I used to run them streets. Every drug dealers love to tell their story. And I like to listen because I'm not that guy. And there are reasons why I'm not that guy. I'm the goofy guy. I can be that all you want. I'll sing to a woman and all that other stuff. Yeah, I'll stay in my lane because I know the world out there. Nonetheless, he was like, yeah, man, I used to run, he was running, crack, like a lot of these dudes, in the day. He was like, I was up in the Hill District, which was a bad area. He was like, me and my mans, I was getting ready to give a delivery to my man, give him the money. And they were meeting like in a parking lot. And another dude saw them. And when he saw them, he ran up on old boy and he put he put a 9 9mm to this guy's head. Told him to kneel down, gun to his head, give me the money. Well, dude's partner was looking at him, sitting in the car, and it was nothing he could do. He's like, if you move, he already knew it was going to be a bad deal. Plus, in that area in the Hill District, it goes down quick. I don't mess around with the Hill District. Nonetheless, so dude was like, I can't give you this money. He was like, here's your money. He's like, I can't do it. So he's in a rock and a hard place. Well, the crackhead decided to pull the trigger. Well, if you know anything about a nine is notorious for jamming. He hit that 9 and it clicked. The guy, he said, I had my eyes closed, and then I woke and he said, I opened my eyes and I realized that I was still here. The guy was trying to unjam his tech. So he was stepping back trying to unjam tech. I stood up and I hit the guy. Bow! I pulled out my gun. Boom! Started lighting him up. Clack, 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 clack. He tried to empty the whole clip on this guy at point blank range. And then this dude jumped out the car and he noticed the guy still moving. He said, what are you hitting when he was like a 9? He was like, clack, clack, clack. This guy was still moving. And he was at point blank range, emptying the clip on him. Blah, 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 blah. So I'm saying all this to say, ladies, sometimes you might get a shot off. You might get 2. But at an adrenaline-rushed close range, it might not stop your attacker. If there's more than one of you, that helps a lot better. Don't be so codependent on that weapon, especially if he takes it from you. So there's a girl in Atlanta. She was going into her house. She opened her garage. She had a weapon, but she didn't have it on her. When she opened that garage, there was a man waiting, and he saw her. And he attacked her. And when he attacked her, he shot her. He shot her. He didn't beat her up. He shot her first. Then when she fell, once again, the weight didn't think. When you fall and you're still, we think you're no longer a threat. She fell. He figured she's no longer the threat. She wasn't. He went in her house and he robbed her. She's a cute girl, too. See, he wasn't after her cookies. A lot of you women think the men are after sex. You're fooling yourself. He could have did what he wanted to that girl. He could have held her at gunpoint and not rob her, and then, take what he wanted from her sexually, and then tie her up, then rob her and be out. He didn't want nothing to do with her sexually. Remember when Biggie Smalls, he said, I don't want to rape you. I just want the paper, the visa, capisce? He's men, they don't want nothing to do with laying down with you. Women quit thinking that way. They want violence. They want what they're built for. They want violence. And when you're not feminine anymore, you are going to have violence done to you. You're no longer looked at as an asset to our lives. We're going to be as violent to you as we are to anything. Look, here's another thing. For you women who go out and choose violence, because now you have female rappers talking about shooting other people. Let me tell you what happens to these little girls, these little teenagers who are pulling knives on other teenagers, like that girl in Walmart that they killed. Let me tell you what happens to these girls. When they get into the police system, which is not where you want to be, especially when you've murdered someone, you are a juvie up until 18, and it depends on the state that you're in. Then they can try you as an adult, and or if the crime is violent enough, like they did to that 12-year-old boy, they tried him as an adult for killing that 8-year-old girl. You know where they put that little boy? Jail with the bigger men. Next time they saw that little boy, he had bruises all over his face. All over his face. They were taking full advantage of this kid. A child. He's 12 years old. In jail for murder. And you little girls who are out there doing this, it's bad for you too. It's even worse for you little girls. Because you think you're going to juvie jail. The way protocol happens is you go to juvie jail, right? And you think you're only going to do so much time there. But if you murdered someone, or if you're an accessory to murder, and you're tried as an adult, you're going to female adult jail. Well, here's what they don't tell you. When you're in female adult jail, they take some of those females and they take them to the male prisons. What do you think they're doing over there? They're keeping order is what they're doing. What's going to happen to you when they take you, all of 12, 13, 14, 15, all rebellious, and they say, we're taking you to the male jail? You'll be like, wait, what? For what? What do you think? You just got a life sentence for murder. What do you think is going to happen to you? And if you don't think that this actually happens, you can go back and look at it, look this up. There's a guy who recently was campaigning outside of a jail cell because his sister was pregnant. Black guy. He was, how did my sister get pregnant? How did she get pregnant in jail? They are taking these children and or women of all ages, and they take them to the male prisons. And the males do what they want with them. They don't kill them, but they have sex with them. And all this fight that you women have, how much fight do you think that you have when you're in a jail cell with men? When they lock you in a 20-man tank of men who aren't going anywhere for the next 15 to 20 years, what do you think you're going to do? Who are you going to call? Your homies? You going to bust a cap at somebody? You going to call your mama? You going to call your daddy? How about the president? Who do you think you're going to call after you committed murder and it's going to come to your rescue while these 20 guys are doing what they want to you? Because that's happening right now. You can look it up. Female prisoners have been used by male prisoners, and it's all done through the judicial system. You don't believe me? Look at the white judge who keeps putting young kids in jail. They're not putting you in jail because they have nothing to do. They're using you. A lot of them are being used for labor. It's free labor. And some of them are used in the sex trade. And it's all true. You can look it up, all up. How did that female inmate get pregnant? By another woman? You think another woman got her pregnant? No. One of the guards or another inmate. Tupac's mom was put in prison with the male prisoners. You think they stopped doing that? Tupac's mother was put in jail with male prisoners. She wasn't the only one. They did this often so the male prisoners can take advantage of the females. They did this quite often. So I'm just telling y'all, Your little daughters out here run around with these bandanas on their head, decide they want to be gangster. Bad move. You better slap that child on her bottom and tell her to get her act together, because the streets aren't playing with nobody. In these courtrooms, even less. They hate you in these courtrooms, and they'll do anything to defile you in any way. This is not the game you want to play. You know how I was watching that one courtroom case with a girl who was 18 years old. She was an accomplice to two other 18-year-olds, and they went to rob a guy. Well, the guy ended up dying. They killed him. And she didn't do it, but she was an accessory. Accessory to murder. They gave her 20 years. They thought that girl was only going to get like 5 years. They gave her 20 years, and her mother broke down. 20 years. This is the time that they're giving away to teenagers. 20 years in maximum prison. That's a lot. That's a whole lot. $20 years. Y'all want to know why all these kids are missing in jail? Trafficking. The authorities are picking these kids up. Y'all think it's some rogue band of, marauders from another country or whatever. Nope, it's the police. It's the police who are doing it. Back in the 60s, there was a story in this one town where the little girls were 12 or something like that. They were getting picked up. They were often going to the store or something like that. As a matter of fact, they were catching these kids on the way to these grocery stores. It's supposed to be safe. You're going to the grocery store, And so they noticed that these little girls were going missing. And then when they were found on the side of the road with their shoes off. Why are these kids being found? Well, they come to find out that the police were doing it. Because it's easy for a cop to pull over and say, hey, what are you doing? Get in the car. And you get, because you think that you're safe. The cops were doing it. You think that stopped happening? Oh, that no longer happens because we're in 2021. No, that still happens. Because there's nobody going to say anything. And you don't think that a cop would do this. No, yeah, they're doing it. What happened last month? Was that last this month? Where was that girl found? Girl found in the van. That black girl, that black woman, she was 20, was found in a van at the police station. Was found in a police vehicle. And the cops act like, we don't know what happened. No, you all know what happened. Well, one chick that got her head cut off. She was last seen with the police. Cops took her up in the hill. did whatever they wanted to her, and then cut her head off as a black woman. That black girl this month, woman, was found in the back of a police vehicle at the police station. The cop left her there on purpose because he knew that other cops were going to use the vehicle, and then the news was going to see it and letting us know what they're doing. They're not hiding it anymore. We are snatching up your women and children and men, and we're killing them, and we're leaving them wherever we want to. What are you going to do about it? It's a challenge. What are you going to do about it? March? Go ahead. March. Let's see it. We love your marches. Go ahead. Put your hands up. Build some slogans. Get the left to help you out. We love your marches. Your marches are entertaining. Hell, we'll march with you. We'll march right beside you. The killer will be right in the crowd with the sign. Save our girls, or whatever you want to chant. What are we chanting? Save our girls. Okay, let's do that. Big old colorful sign. And we'll do a speech. This has happened already. We'll get up there and do a speech. My name is Jason, and I've been an officer here for 10 years. I've never seen such a heinous crime happen. I'm just going to tell you, whoever you are out there, we at so-and-so police, we're going to find you, and it come to find out it's him. The police are the ones who are doing it. Snatching up your mama, your sisters, your auntie, taking her body parts, your brothers, especially if you're a young, strong black male. Yep, you got that good liver. The system that we once knew or we hoped for is not in place. There's no holds bar out here. I got a neighbor who's been messing with me for the longest time. I can't beat him up. And he knows it. I can't go out there and smash his face in. As soon as I approach him, he calls the police. That's what he does. He hides behind the police. And he'll do something to my car or provoke me some kind of way. And as soon as I get ready to dust him off, he calls the police. I mean, he's a whole hoe out here, but nonetheless, the fear of the cops is palpable. I'm just letting you guys know. Like, if you think, oh, I'm going to do a stint in jail after I do whatever I want, it's not like that anymore. And listen, whatever happens in jail stays in jail. Tell your little girls, get their act together. Warn them, plead with them. Tell them these stories. Show them these stories. Show them these stories. You do not want to be locked up with a group of grown men. You know, no man wants to be locked up with a group of grown men. But you little rebel 13, 14-year-olds, this is not what you want. It's not a pretty scene. Your mind will be completely reconstructed. You will not be the same. And no therapist will be able to help you. and nobody's going to come to your aid. It's just you and them in that space until the guard comes and gets you. Maybe the next day. And then puts you into another cell. After they're done with you, they put you in another cell. And they pass you around. And all of that fight and all that sting you got in you is long gone. There's nothing left of you. You're gonna wish you weren't even born. Have you ever been into a car crash, or have you ever been on a Ferris wheel or anything that's taking your body and moving it fast, doing something with you where you no longer want to be there, where it's completely has control of you? That's what happens. You have no control over what happens to you. And one wrong word that comes out of your mouth is going to get you cracked in the mouth by everyone. You don't think it's happening, but it's happening. That's why all these kids are getting snatched up. That's one reason. Men are angry. And the judicial system is angry at women too. See, women thought because we outnumber you, we can outvote you. You can outvote someone, but that person can still have power. You can take somebody out of office, but that person still has power. Case in point, Rudy Giuliani. You're fooling yourself if you think he doesn't have power. President Obama. How much power do you think President Obama wields? He's not in office. But not for 2 terms. How much power do you think President Obama wields if he says something? What do you think will get done? Still holds power. So you women are trying to use your numbers as your advantage, and that's fine. Do that. But you live in a world that is created and built by men. So there's only so much power a man is going to relinquish. He's not going to give you. What are the chances Hillary Clinton's going to be president? Okay, so our vice president, Kamala Harris. It's a matter of opinion, and I'm going to show it. Yeah, he's still messing with my vehicle, but he's going to get his. He's an idiot. What are the chances of Kamala Harris becoming president? If Biden passes on, has a stroke or whatever, passes on, Kamala Harris is president. How long do you think she'll be president? I'd give her 6 months. Maybe. That's if she's lucky. I'm going to give her 6 months until she's out of there. In some shape, form, or fashion. And there's a good chance she'd probably be sent a private letter and tell her to go ahead and give up the presidency. Hell, it probably wouldn't even be that long. It probably would never happen. Even if Joe passed away right now, fell asleep and didn't wake up, Kamala Harris would probably never be sworn in. The ghost of Jack Ruby would come out of nowhere. The ghost of Jack Ruby would come out of nowhere. They would send her a strong lettered warning. Tell her don't do it. Don't raise your right hand. And then you would hear about, and because she's sick, she would no longer be able to take the presidency. And then they would invite one of these cabinet members in as an impromptu, but it will be a man. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you right now. Hillary Clinton was never going to be president. She got outvoted. She got Trump outvoted her. Oh, it won't even be like January 6th. You're not going to have a bunch of people to come down and protest against a woman. You're going to have a small group of people pretty much tell her it's not going to happen. And if she is defiant, well, we already know. Wouldn't last long. And if she did it for some black pride, or it just wouldn't last long. She'd be a goner. She'd be a goner. White men will always be in a position of power until this era ends. And they're not going to give up that power. Right? Men are not going to give up their power to no woman. See, the courtroom lies to you. The only reason why the courtroom did all of that for women and all of that, giving you power and all that other stuff is because the men were the breadwinners. So the men had all of these pensions. They were robbing men is what they did. Men had pension funds. Men had 401ks. They had IRAs. They had annuities. They had all of this income coming in. So if you took one who worked in a factory for 30 years and the wife divorced this man, well, this man has over $100,000, on the stock market in his 401k. So if the court system had access to that and said the woman gets half of that, that's $50,000 you give to the woman. Well, then she has to pay, they have to pay the lawyer in the court system. Plus, if the guy is still working, he's going to pay the woman and the court system. So it's highway robbery. That's the only reason. Listen, if the court system got no money out of that, they wouldn't have gave women all that power. They gave women all that power simply because they were pocketing the money. So they were robbing all these men so they could pocket the money. They could bolster up the police force. They could get the police force new weapons. The police don't get their money from our taxes. They get their money from robbing us. Now they have weapons that they deploy that you don't even know what it's doing to you. There's a weapon the police use, and it's a sound wave. And it's meant to disorient. It's just a sound wave. They got military grade. I mean, they're walking around with AR-15s. The police, the regular city cops have AR-15s. An AR-15 is a military weapon. The only difference between an AR-15 and an M16 is an AR-15 is a semi-automatic and an M16 is an automatic weapon. Now, there are some augmentations to AR-15s, but nonetheless, it was made as a military weapon. When I was in the military, we had M16s. The AR-15 is similar to the M16. Now, the M16 is about $20,000. That's because it doesn't have the faults that an AR-15 might have. but you can get some expensive AR-15s. Why does the police have military-grade weapons? For the citizens? For the army of the citizens who are mostly unarmed? Why does the police have military weapons? What sense does that make? When did the revolver not do any good? Well, okay, so you had the one incident where the two guys in California robbed the bank. And when they robbed the bank with K-47s, and they had tactical armor. So when they were walking outside, the police were trying to fight them with 9mm and shotguns. Well, the bullets just bounced right off the guy's chest. So they hit him in the leg. But when the guy fell down, he was still shooting through their car with armor-piercing rounds. Now that's when things changed. He was shooting through the police door and through the other side of the police door. So they couldn't even hide behind the damn car because he had armor-piercing rounds on an AK-47. And there were two guys who did this. One guy was able to partially, he was driving a white car, and the other guy just walked out the bank, stood there, loaded up, and started shooting at the police. Like, let's go. The video is on YouTube. It's amazing. Because that guy didn't care. He didn't care about getting hit in the head or nothing. He was just standing there broad daylight, mano a mano with the police. Let's go. Now that's what changed, but nonetheless, you see more AR-15s in the police hands than you see citizens run around with that type of weaponry. Although there are citizens who have it, you don't see it that much. The police system is not built for you, ladies. Protect yourselves. Protect your body. Use your womanly wiles to keep men calm. Stop listening to angry women who are giving you bad advice. Stop listening to these spinsters who are telling you to be rebellious because they're going to see an early grave. Stop it. Stop provoking men. Stop shaking your tail in front of us and then get mad at us when we look at it. We're supposed to look at it. You women want us to be a bunch of look at men. You want to try to tame us and turn us into something we're not. If we see a nice pair of legs, we're supposed to look. If we see a nice rack and a pretty face, we are supposed to admire you. Now there's levels to that. There's looking and then there's looking and lusting. Okay, but if a guy approaches you and wants to get to know you because you look like, okay, heaven just dripped down gold upon you. I'm sorry, Miss Lady, I'm supposed to want to mate with you. Now you can tell me no and I can go about my way. That's civility. But we're no longer living in civil times. You tell a man no, be careful how you tell him no. You and your girlfriends tell him no and laugh at him, there's going to be repercussions. Especially if you post it on social media. He may walk away, but the next group of goofy girls who try this might not be so lucky. Guy approaches them, hee. No, look at you. You're a bum. You're a blah, blah, blah. He's like, damn, why you even got to go there? You could have just said no. No, bum, put it on social media, blah, blah, blah. We did this, that, and the other. Next thing you know, you hear gunshots. Yeah, but he's firing at you because he knows what you're doing. You filmed it, and you have his face blasted all over social media dogging him out. Well, he's like, well, let's go for broke. Next thing you know, one of your girlfriends is shot and in the hospital, and it's not funny anymore. And all you women want to come down on the guy. Well, you took it to the extreme. We are not dealing with rational people anymore. Yes, he took it to the extreme because the world is extreme. We're not dealing with civility anymore. We're dealing with animals. And you have to keep yourself in that frame of mind. This could either be a civil man or it could be an animal, and I don't know which one he is. So I'm going to play this like he's an animal. And I'm going to be nice to that dog. I'm going to be nice to this lion. I'm going to be nice to this panther. Because I do not want it to bite me. And I know if I'm nice to this panther and reject him in a nice way and tell my idiot girlfriends to shut their mouth and stay on guard, there's a good chance that this panther is going to walk away nice and calm. And the life we save may be our own. That's what you should be doing. Recently, a woman was approached by a guy who was upset at them because she was speaking in sign language. He didn't know that her whole group was hearing impaired. So they were speaking in sign languages. Well, he thought they were throwing signs from a set. And she could read his lips. And she told him, we're all deaf. We speak in sign languages. He's like, I don't believe you. You better quit throwing signs. When they stopped talking, they stopped talking because it was about to get real. And he left. Now they could have attacked him. But if he's talking about throwing signs in his set, there's a good chance he already chose violence. And if you don't want to end up on the news, just be quiet. Just walk away. Stop talking. You and your girls just slide. And eventually he walked away. Stop thinking that men are civil. Stop thinking that women are civil. Stop thinking that people have the marbles that you do. And they have two good sense to rub together. They do not. Nobody's playing with the full deck. If you laugh in a man's face, there's a good chance you're going to end up like that girl in Detroit. Man went to buy her a drink. They hit on her in a club. She said no. He got upset. He waited till the club was over. Saw the girl in the parking lot. Went and got his gun and killed her. Just because she said no. It's your boy Tone 202. You have a good day.